Hi everyone, my name is Joseph and today I want to discuss Digimon Liberator, the novel 3-2, which is called We Can Be Heroes. Before I actually begin, a quick disclaimer, I am getting over a cold, so if I sound a bit different, that's the reason why. And I might make this video a bit shorter just because I am a bit congested, so it's a little bit difficult to speak without sounding a bit nasally. But yeah, thank you for your patience. Let's go ahead and get into it. So thankfully, since I am a bit under the weather, I did notice this chapter was not as substantial compared to the first one. It was mostly the battle, which, as always, I'm actually not minding too much because I am enjoying how they're setting up these battles. Especially with this one, with the way that Ryu was the quote-unquote underdog and that it looked like he was going to lose against Aruba, Aruba's the leader of this group that's been doing these illicit activities. But of course, as the audience, we know that by the end, Ryu will be prevailing over this individual, but I still did appreciate the way that they came to that battle's conclusion. Again, even if it was a little bit cliched, I think what makes it stand the test of clichéness is the fact that the relationship between Ryu and Tyrannomon is so strong. And I also love how Aruba picks up on this as well. And in fact, we'll pick up with a quote from Aruba who states, or rather it's described, he's delighted. However rich, someone who's obviously a delusional Digimon lover, opting to sacrifice an ally rather than take a hit himself. And even still, my Lucamon has you down just to security. Your Rio began with Toro, but his comeback was cut short by a low voice from his battle area. Keep it cool, Rio. No need to get riled up. A call for calm from Rio's partner, but it wasn't the user Tyrannomon. Instead, there was a Digimon who had fought many more battles, proven by his numerous scars, notably across the eye and the intense hue of his ashen hide. Master Tyrannomon, you made the right decision. Excuse me, everyone that was a hiccup. You made the right decision. There was no way you could get him. There was no way you could let him recover, was there? Master Tyrannomon was right. Choosing to trash a security guard would have let Aruba add a card to his security stack with Lucamon's recovery effect. That would have made winning harder for Roturo, since his deck relied on wiping out the opponent's security with a swift onslaught. You did that because you know the threat posed by your opponent and what you have to do to win. The judgment is solid, and that's why we're willing to put our lives on the line for you, continued Master Tyrannomon. His words backed up by a reassuring nod from Tyrannomon in the breeding area. So again, this just reinforces that Master Tyrannomon, or the Tyrannomon, his actual partner from the first portion, 3-1, he has faith and confidence within Ryu. Although sometimes it may look like he's acting out of character, in reality he's not acting out of character. He has a strategy that he's going to implement, as highlighted right here. So for me, I like this line because it kind of emphasizes that it's not the first time that Ryu may have done something like this, and again, it reinforces the relationship that's present between Tyrannomon and Ryu. And again, you guys are aware if you watch my videos, I'm always a big fan of when the Digimon property emphasizes these relationships. And I'm a bit biased because, of course, I'm a big fan of pets and an owner of pets and everything like that. So the second quote that I really enjoyed, you know, Aruba, you have a point. Justice and evil may be nonsense. Still, there's times when you have to follow your gut and accept there's a right and wrong. You called Liberator childish, and yeah, a lot of kids do play it. With this, Roturo thought back to his own adventures with Digimon as a boy. But that's all the more reason for the adult players to set the right example. So come on, partner. Let's show we're the heroes and they're the villains. A very small, simple line. But again, I think this really does give credit to Ryu's mindset. Although it might seem he's a little bit childish, or maybe I should have used the word childish, a little bit immature for his age. At the end of the day, this immaturity is for Ryu's benefit, because I would argue if he was being too serious, maybe he wouldn't get things done, or maybe his relationship with Tyrannomon would be a little bit different, and thus this difference would not allow them to jive or work very well with one another. Again, it's very small, but I'm a big fan of anything that reinforces characterization, because it really, for me, that's a sign of, if not strong writing, at the very least, of decent writing, because there's some form of consistency that's trying to be established. So I do appreciate that from the writers. And then the last quote that I have, as I said, what you debuggers are doing irritates me, said the glowing Aruba. I suppose your whole hero act went just as you have wanted, although it's just as childish as his game. Not responding, Roturo pressed some buttons on his D storage, after which a little electronic beep came from Aruba's. You messaged me. This is a Spiral Liberator account of mine. I won't need it, so use it as you like. Play some online battles if the mood strikes. But why would you? Before the first of the Ruba could finish, he was offered a hand by Rituro. That was an intense match, and unlike another, you got to admit games can be a blast when you put your soul into them. Seeming perplexed, Ruba gave a tut and then looked aside. I had enough of your nonsense. Just go away already. He said, sure thing, let's go again anytime, replied Rituro. And with that, he made his way back to Tyrannomon and the others. So I found this line to be really shocking for me personally. The fact that Ryu was willing to give up his side account, his secondary account, to this individual who was utilizing tournaments to not bully, but to harass and target other players. For me, although at first I was shocked, I think it totally is falling in line with Ryu's characterization. He seems to be an individual who does his best to always be positive, and he seems to also see and look for the positive in other people as well. He recognizes that within Yoruba is an individual who knows how to utilize the Digimon card game, knows how to utilize Liberator with the Digimon card game. He has skills, the kind of skills that one will want to play against, right? I myself do play Destiny 2 and Halo multiplayer here and there, and nothing irritates me more than when I play with someone against someone who's way above my skill level. But when the matches between players where the skill level is quite similar, it could be a very fun, intense match, especially when it's close to either side winning, as I would argue was going on with this battle. So of course Rituro is going to appreciate something like that, because it seems like Rituro has an appreciation for the Digimon card game. For anyone who utilizes it and engages with it in a meaningful way, I think Ryu will probably have some respect for you. With that being said, though, he also recognizes that some people will use the Digimon card game for negativity, like the way this group was. But that was just a choice, and it's looking like Ryu Taro is allowing Yoruba to make another choice, and this time hopefully he makes the correct choice. I do believe he's giving Yoruba too much confidence, too much leeway, especially after all the trouble that he's been causing. But with that being said, again, I think it really is fitting and fits in line with Rituro's characterization. I personally would not do something like that. Or I would maybe compromise with them, let them know, send them my email address or something like that, just let them know if you are keeping your nose clean, reach out to me in a month's time. Maybe I could set up something for you. Something more like that, right? So again, although I may not agree with his action, it makes sense coming from Ryu, and also emphasizes how Ryu is a positive individual, and he tries his best to look for the positivity, not just in his own community, but spreading that positivity as well. In fact, this kind of does go back to the previous line that I just read, right? How Rituro states, that's all the more reason for the adult players to set the right example. So come on, partner, let's show we're the heroes and they're the villains. So obviously in this instance, I think Ryu is trying to quite literally demonstrate to Yoruba that although your actions and decisions led to one conclusion, you now have the option to do other choices, especially because I'm giving you this chance to use a secondary account. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing if Yoruba will make an appearance later on in the story. I think that'd be kind of cool if he just steps in really quick to help. Maybe something goes on with Laconia and everyone has to step in really quickly, and maybe Yoruba sees Ryu fighting someone and he steps in to assist him. But give me a quick second, everyone, before I started recording. Unfortunately, my laptop was not working, so I needed to reset it. That means that I don't have the Digimon Liberator page right in front of me. But let me quickly go to it. Excuse me, everyone. Pardon me, I did my best to not cough during the video, but pardon me. So again, as always, let me read the last portion. I actually do kind of like the last portion anyways. Thanks for the hard work, Rituro. Unfortunately, we've been summoned by the GMs, he said coolly. No time that means, Rituro asked. They're not happy with how we carried out the investigation, to say the least, reported Renor. Gah! No way. Tyrannomon looked on bemused as his partner seethed in frustration, looking up to the sky with his hands on his head. Although Rituro is usually so unreliable, his Digimon knowledge really is second to none. I won't disagree with you there. Darn straight, and when the going gets tough, his whole hero thing is actually quite convincing. Rituro has been praised quite highly by his teammates during the battle, but let's not share that just right now. And so with the sea breeze cooling his battle-worn body, the Chrism dinosaur looked back over another day in Laconia. So I think this line is just cool because it reminds us, us being the readers, how in the previous chapter, Rituro approached this a little bit unorthodox, he essentially utilized Renoir as a trap, and he utilized Renoir since he's so young. He was hoping that appearances will allow this group to take him for granted, and unfortunately, it actually backfired. In case one forgets, the whole group was not supposed to be present for Renoir, but they were all present, and that's why Roturo needed to step in. I also do like this line just because I like the image of Pteranodon just looking out with the sea breeze blowing. Again, I think the writers of Liberators are doing a good job of, at the very least, setting up the context, not the context, excuse me, the setting of the world. So I'm personally able to imagine the landscape and the setting and everything like that, because it seems quite lovely. Again, if this was a real game, I could imagine myself exploring and just looking around. I kind of like when Dragon Age Inquisition first came out. One of the cool things about that game was just how green some of the maps were and how fun it was to explore, especially when it went from like an oasis to a desert area, back to like a cave area. And there's actually, I believe, I forgot the area that from Dragon Age Inquisition, but there was a specific map like that where all those biomes are in one map. And then, of course, you have other biomes like for the hinterlands. Anyways, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but again, I want to emphasize I really appreciate the description of the setting and the landscape. So thank you so much for listening / watching, everyone. I do appreciate. Also, thank you for your patience, everyone, especially if I seemed a little bit more slower, a little bit more out of it than I typically am. I do feel like I'm speaking a bit more slowly than I typically do. But again, I do thank you for your patience. Have a prodigious day, everyone, and take care.